Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. It's been a while, but I promised you I would make an episode eventually, and here we are. So very quickly, one of the benefits of having time off from creating content is you actually get to live your life, come up with fresh ideas, research, build new concepts, improve on what you know, and be ready to share it. So guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a while. We're about to approach 2026. Can't believe it. It's gone by way too fast, and honestly, it does make you appreciate the day one day at a time, one bit at a time. So, I've been thinking about this topic for quite a long time, and if you're looking at the title or you're seeing this on YouTube or Spotify, it may sound a bit controversial, especially in a modern world where we get told that you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want, as long as you work hard, believe in yourself, and hustle and grind, you will make it. But the more I think about it, and also the more I think about my dad, who is a very wise man, although hard for me to admit as a young man, that my dad, although he may not be perfect, he may not know everything, the advice he did give me, maybe 20 years down the line, I'm like, you know what, my dad had a really good point. So the topic of this podcast is you are ordinary. Maybe above average, and that's okay. The reason why I want to make this episode, and I think it's a very important episode, is because these days, especially if you look at Instagram, TikTok, any of the big social media platforms, you will see many of these like motivation pages, success pages, and I think they're good. I think they do motivate you, but they do promote an idea that anyone can make it. Everyone can make it. You know, Ziz used to say, we're all going to make it. And when we're talking about from a success point of view or a financial point of view, or any of the artistries like music or sports or anything outside of the typical 9-to-5 career, the reality is that not everyone's going to make it. Most of us are not going to be good enough to make it. Most of us are not going to get our lucky break to make it. And the part of why I put the title as maybe you're above average is ordinary is great. Above average is awesome. But to make it in like the top 0.0001% of the world, there's billions of us on this planet. Not everyone can make it. Not everyone should make it. And you probably don't want to make it. Go look at most celebrities and how they live their lives. It's tough. Yeah, they make millions and millions of dollars, but why are so many of them have addictions? You know, I was watching a movie last night with my wife, watching an old classic movie. Now, if you're in the ages of 30, you're like, classic? Are you talking about A Streetcar Named Desire? No, we're watching a movie called What a Girl Wants, starring Amanda Bynes. Now, back in the day, Amanda Bynes was like one of the epic, you know, female stars on the planet. There was like Lindsay Lohan, Hilary Duff, I think the Olsen twins, like they had this big Vogue magazine thing. It was like iconic, right? And then we look at the life of Amanda Bynes now. I think she's in her 40s now. She's still dealing with addictions. Like, this is a woman who made millions, but went through the carnage and suffering of fame. Now, that's only fame we're talking about here. So yeah, like think about it. Like not all of us are going to be there, but not all of us should be there or even want to be there. We probably think it's better, but it's not. So anyway, I got a couple of points I want to explore, and I hope that you find this beneficial. Now, this is only my opinion. I don't claim that this is the absolute truth for everyone, and you should take everything I say as absolute truth. This is just perspective. It's just ideas to help, especially for the younger crowd out there right now. Let's say you're a teenager, you're a young adult, and you're like, you know, screw this 9-to-5 life. I'm going to go build my own hustle. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to believe and work hard. And then 7 years later, you haven't made it. 10 years later, you haven't made it. Take it from me, I am somebody who did fall for that. I believed that if I worked hard enough, if I streamed, if I didn't follow the normal 9-to-5, that if I just hustled hard enough and I eventually got my shot, I would make it. And here's the thing, I technically did make it. I was in the top 0.50% streamers on the planet. I became a Twitch partner. I was making an income. I was doing pretty decent. I still didn't make it. I still did it for 7 to 8 years, And I was young enough, and I'm still young enough where I was able to make a change. I had a part-time job on the side, and I decided to change it up. And now I've got a pretty decent career working in disability. But I had to make that call. I said, this is not working anymore. And that's okay. I've come to the conclusion that I'm very ordinary. I'm not that talented. I'm good at some things. I've achieved pretty well in some things. I got Zelda World Records. I won pool competitions. I'm pretty average at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right now. But when I compare it to what other parts of the world are experiencing, like in the third world countries, famine, hunger, no access to clean water, no access to education. They don't even have the chance to try. We've actually got it pretty good. But anyway, let's go into the main talking points. The first one I want to talk about, and I've got some notes here on the side, is there is a problem with self-help and red pill ideology. If you don't know what that is, essentially it's the idea that if you consume information and you think differently than the norm, and you work hard and don't follow conventions, that you will be different and have different results. To a certain degree, this is true. Yes, if you just follow the norm and you just do what everyone says, you'll probably have a pretty decent life. You can think outside the box. You can create your own ideas, but there is a limit to this, right? Like you could watch a bunch of YouTube videos saying if you hustle 20 hours a day and sleep 3 hours a night, you're gonna make it. There's a lot of people who tried that and didn't make it. They ended up having to get normal jobs like the rest of us. But what I'm saying is that if you live by this ideology and don't have a level of honest practicality, it's going to hurt you in the end. And that's just my opinion. I look at a lot of people right now who've banked on themselves wanting to be successful streamers. They said, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to focus on streaming full time. We fast forward 7 to 8 years and they still haven't made it. Even in that 8-year period, how many people quit along the way? What's more realistic is that if we're talking about streaming specifically, is you can build a level of success. I'm not saying you can't succeed at all. You know, I think most people who are ordinary or above average in talent, even slightly below average in talent, can still do something on Twitch, for example, or YouTube. You can make extra money streaming. You're just probably not going to make an extra 6 figures a year. You're probably not going to be the next extra Emily. You're not going to be the next Pokimane. You're not going to be the next Ludwig. You can work hard forever. You can do everything you deem correct and right. You can listen to all the experts. You can try all the strategies. You're still not going to make it. You're not going to make it that big. If we put it to practically, you could probably get Twitch partner. Even then, only the top 0.5 or 6% make it a Twitch partner. But that comes down to actual, hard work, having the right strategies, having the right things in place. Take it from me, I achieved it. But that still wasn't enough. That's what I'm trying to say, is that if you bank on this big dream that you're going to be one of the top streamers in the world, or top singers in the world, or top basketballers in the world, not everyone's going to be LeBron James. It's okay to accept that there are limits to what you can do. What it really comes down to is maximizing on your potential and being content with it. Like me, I know I can achieve a lot more than I'm doing right now, and I will get there in time. But honestly, my life's pretty good. I'm married, I've got a dog, I've got a home, I've got a career, I'm healthy, I'm getting back in shape, I've got a good church life, I've got a good social life, I was one of the best pool players in Victoria at a time. I've got it pretty good. Like, any further than this, you know, like, is a bit gluttony, to be honest, but we won't get too far into that. What I'm saying is that you probably have it better than you realize, or if you haven't reached your potential, you can reach your potential. You're probably just not going to be the next massive streamer. And that's okay. You might put every bit of talent you've got and hard work in, and you're probably going to be a 20 viewer streamer. That's good. Most people don't get to 20 viewers, right? How about people who start small businesses believing that if they listen to Gary Vaynerchuk and if you hustle and read all these books and do all that, they might make an extra 10 grand a year. That's still good. Let's say you have a 70 grand job and a 10K side hustle and you manage your money well. That's pretty good. You can still live a pretty good life. Leading on to the next point, the beauty of the ordinary life. Being ordinary doesn't mean you're unsuccessful. Let me make that clear. Go to all those Instagram pages, look them all up. Look at all those YouTube channels that talk about success, and they keep saying, stop trying to be ordinary. Why are you trying so hard to fit in where you were born to stand out? That's from What a Girl Wants, by the way. Pretty cheesy line, but you know, I memorized it. Look, a stable job, time with your family, a hobby you enjoy, some close friends, that's a good life. That is a good life. Don't let society tell you otherwise. Don't let red pill society tell you otherwise. If you make a decent income that supports the goals that you have, or if you're not quite there yet, you can still get there. That's still good. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to have all fancy boats and six-pack abs and all the like extremes of the internet that you see. That's all glamorized. A lot of it is superficial. You just got to figure out what's important to you. What are your values? What are your goals? Now, some people are going to tell me, well, my goal is to be a millionaire. All right, go for it, man. But keep your job. Don't quit your job. Don't think that just because you went all in, you are guaranteed success. You are not guaranteed anything. That's a very terrible idea. I'll go back to my dad, for example. My dad told me from the day I started streaming, he said, I think you should get a job and stream on the side. And I would tell my dad over and over and over again, no. The only way I'm going to make it is if I go all in. I don't want to be ordinary. I don't want to follow everyone else. I want to do my own thing. My dad loved me so much, and my mum did too, that they supported me through that. I said, fine, do it, but I'm just telling you what I think. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I just tell you what I think. I think you should get a job. But here's the thing. I did listen to a degree. I kept a part-time job the whole time I built my stream. I didn't go completely jobless. So my backup plan was always, if this doesn't work out, I'll transition to a full-time career. And I did that. I eventually found a job in a new industry. I've now been promoted, and hopefully things keep going well. But I'm telling you now, dude, a regular paycheck every 2 weeks with benefits, and you know, in America, you guys call it the 401k. In Australia, we call it superannuation. Dude, like I'm feeling a bit sick right now. I could take Monday off and I'll get paid for it. I take Monday off as a streamer. I'm not getting paid for that. I've lived that life. I was streaming, you know, from 7:30 p.m. to 2 in the morning, doing my hustle, making YouTube vlogs. I did all of it. Nah, dude. Normal 9 to 5 is great if you find a good job. If you find one that's something that suits you. Something my wife really helped me with was she wasn't just happy with me getting a job. She wanted me to get the right job for me. That was the key. She wanted me to be in the right company with good values. The pay will get there eventually, but what's more important than pay is being in the right place for you. So what I'm saying is this. The beauty of the ordinary life in the first world, to a lot of people in the third world, would view it as extraordinary. They wish they had access to clean water, education, not being fearful to leave their home, not knowing that a plane's going to fly over and drop a bomb. That is the reality over in other parts of the world. You can go look it up. We're pretty safe and we have it good here. All right, here's the next one. Comparison culture and the pressure to be exceptional. So, social media absolutely skews our ideas of success. It absolutely does. You go look at history. Before we had the internet, before we had access to rapid media, your extent of society was to the size of your village. Then, as agriculture took on, it grew to the size of your city. Maybe the size, like if you go just to a school perspective, your social life was limited to the school you went to, the jobs you have, and the small amount of social circles you have. That was your level of influence, plus maybe magazines that you saw, right? You would read magazines about Hilary Duff, magazines about Lindsay Lohan, magazines about Aaron Carter, and that was celebrity to you. Now, you can go on your phone, you can use one of these devices, and you can see it all. You can see it all now, at all time, 24/7, rapid information digestion, and it's skewed our ideas. We see 16-year-olds who have Lamborghinis. You know, we see lots of people with OnlyFans accounts making 50 million a month, and you're thinking, why am I working my job? You know, it skews our ideas of what life actually is for most of us, because most of us are gonna be ordinary. But we're ordinary with untapped potential. What I'm saying is maximize on what you have. You haven't maximized what you have. None of us have. We've got potential we can explore. We can still grow and improve. I'm just saying you're probably not going to be a millionaire. And that's okay. If you're above average, you're probably going to have a good job and build a side hustle that makes you an extra 40,000 a year. That's really good. Like, that's crazy good. Many people wish they had that. You know, I aspire to do that myself. Like, although I'm doing pretty good at my job, I'd love to build my stream again. I'd love to build my content again. It's why I'm making episodes like this again, but I do it because I want to add value. If it gets something for me in the future, great. If this doesn't work out, I've still got a job. I've still got a career. If I lose that job, I'll find another one. But the philosophy is there. I'm not staking my happiness and my fulfillment and my sense of worth on these superficial metrics. There's more important things than all of that. Look at anyone who's gotten seriously ill, and they'll tell you they'll trade all the success to live more. All right. So here's the last one I want to leave you with. So let's say you've been trying to find your purpose. You're trying to find why. What's your why behind everything? And if your why has been, I need to make it to feel worthy, and you're living in this framework where all the odds are against you, it's going to be very hard for you to feel good about yourself. Even if you make it, there's always someone who's got more than you. I once heard a story of a guy who was making $50 million a year, and he felt inadequate when he met someone that came from old money. All right, let me put that in perspective. 50 million a year. Felt inadequate when they met someone who had old money. If you don't know what old money is money that's been passed through generations. And it's a lot of money. 50 million pales in comparison to old money. Look at any like wealthy family across the world. Look at the oilers in Abu Dhabi. Look at the people who control like Manhattan in USA. You know what I mean? 50 million is nothing compared to them. This person who makes 50 million a year felt inadequate. That 50 million, I will never make that in my life. I don't want that amount of money in my life. I'm happy with what I make, and it's okay. Like, I have food, I have a roof over my head, got a cool life, cool wife, got a cool dog. I'm 34. Guys, I'm 34 now. I started streaming when I was like 26, right? I've been doing this for a while. And the thing is, a lot of people are not going to follow my advice, not going to follow my opinion. They're going to tell me, you're wrong. It's just because you didn't make it, but I'm going to make it. Okay, cool. And if you make it, all the best to you. I'm just saying, for the other 99.99999% of people who will try and not make it, have some practical things in place to protect you. It's okay to have a plan B. I know Will Smith once said, there's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. Yeah, that's because that's Will Smith. All right? You're not Will Smith. Fair enough, he slapped Chris Rock. I don't want to be Will Smith either. You know what I mean? But just hear me out. Hear me out. It's good to have practicality. All right? If you went to school, great. If you didn't make it through school, that's okay. You can still find a job. There's a way to do it. It's not going to be easy. We live in different circumstances. We live in different countries with different opportunities. All I'm saying is don't fall for the trap that you have to be this top 0.0001% person in this world. You might think that everyone you see on social media is the norm. It is not the norm. Those celebrities that are being worshipped on Instagram, there's a lot of people who have no idea who they are. I'm telling you. Just go live your normal life. Go to your workplace and say, oh, did you hear what happened to Sabrina Carpenter? There's a lot of people who don't know that. The only reason I know that name is because I see it on my Facebook feed once in a while. Or Sydney Sweeney, who's like the current goddess of the internet right now. There's a lot of people who don't know who Sydney Sweeney is. The whole world, the microcosm of social media is not the whole reality. All right? Social media is snippets, it's highlights. There's a whole world out there. There's billions of people on this planet who would love to have an ordinary life. who would love to have a normal life. There are celebrities who want to have a normal life. They can't go to the supermarket and buy something without being harassed by paparazzi. Go look at videos of Justin Bieber shopping with his wife. Go look at videos of Justin Bieber kindly asking people to leave his property. He's like, guys, I understand. I'm famous. You want to take photos, but this is my home. This is where I live. Please leave. People keep taking photos. They don't care. So, in all, I know it's a bit controversial what I'm saying, and all the internet advice is probably going against what I'm saying. Watch this 10 years from now. Listen to this 10 years from now. And like, not to say that I told you so, but count how many people in your life took the side hustle route, said, I'm going all in. Tell me how many of them succeeded. This is not me to like talk them down. I'm just saying that you can still maximize on what you have in a practical way. You can work a normal job and have a side hustle and live an above average life and maximize what you have. I think that is more practical and more realistic for the ordinary person. The below average person can still maximize what they have. When I say average and below average, I'm just using figurative speech. I'm saying we all have different talent levels. For example, I could train so hard, get all the best coaches in the world, and I would never ever have a dent on a D grade player in basketball. Someone in the D leagues. I would not have a shot against them. I could do everything right. I could quit my job. People could pay millions for me to train with the best nutritionists, with the best trainers. I wouldn't have a shot against a D-League player. The D-League players don't have a shot against the NBA players, right? There's a different level of potential. It's about maximizing your potential. And then when you realize that success is not the only metric, it's just one of many, you define what you want, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to help out the younger streamers, the younger content creators, the ones who want to be YouTubers. Like you ask a little kid right now, what is their dream job? That most of them will say, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a TikToker, I want to be a streamer. Right? And you know, like 99.99% of them are not going to make it. Only some make it. And even the ones who make it are probably not as happy as you think they are. I'm not saying they're not happy. Like, I could probably interview a famous streamer and they'll tell me they have the best life ever. I believe them. I've got famous Twitch friends, okay? I'm not trying to downplay their success to make us feel better. I'm just trying to also not magnify the other side, which is just because all these material things are in possession for somebody else doesn't automatically guarantee they're happier and have it better. Now, there's an old saying like, I'd rather be crying in a Lamborghini. Sure, I totally get that. Like, money and success isn't going to fix all your problems. It certainly would probably help a bit. I'm just saying that if you fall for the idea that you got to make it, most of us are not going to make it by these superficial standards. But what I think making it, honestly, is maximizing your life, your potential. What do you like to do? What do you enjoy? You know, like, I was really set on the idea I'd be one of the greatest pool players in the world. Tell you what though, I beat multiple Australian champions. I'm still one of the best players in my state for a guy who doesn't practice. You know, I'm pretty good at pool and I'm pretty content with that. Streaming, I became a Twitch partner. I got 5 Zelda world records. These days when I go live, I might get 10, 20, 30 viewers, sometimes 50 if I'm doing well. That's great. You know, I've got a pretty decent job right now. I'm probably going to get one more promotion if I'm blessed. But even without it, I met an amazing woman. I'm married. Like, I can count my blessings. And that's all you got to do. If you have one blessing in your life, count it, appreciate it, and then just go and hustle. That's okay. You can hustle practically, but you don't have to hustle with this, you know, crazy ideology, because it's going to hurt a lot of people. And we can see it 10 years from now. But if you stay practical and take your time and take it one day at a time, it'll probably be okay. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. This is why, like I said earlier at the start, sometimes it's good to take time off as a content creator so you can come up with new content. This is something I've been thinking about for months. So I had a couple talking points and then I just went straight from the heart, from experience. I hope this helps. So guys, if you like the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, drop a like, subscribe. If you're on Spotify or the other platforms, feel free to share it with somebody else. And if you liked it, if you didn't like it, that's okay. Because I'm pretty ordinary and my podcast is probably not going to be one of the biggest in the world. It doesn't have to be. It just has to reach the one person that needs it. So guys, take care. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you on the next episode, hopefully soon.